Hey everyone, and welcome. So, if you've been writing Python for any amount of time, you've probably heard people talk about Pythonic code. Code that just feels right. It's clean, it's elegant, it's efficient. Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful way to get that feeling: functional programming. We're going to look at some of Python's built-in tools that can make your code way more readable, super concise, and just better.
Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to start by looking past our old friend the for loop. Then we'll meet a tiny but mighty helper called the Lambda. After that, we'll get our hands dirty with three awesome tools: map, filter, and reduce. And finally, we'll tie it all together and talk about what it means to have a functional mindset. Sound good? Let's jump in.
All right, first things first. We all know the for loop. We all use the for loop. It is the absolute workhorse of Python, right? It gets the job done, no questions asked. But is it always the best tool for the job? Is it always the sharpest tool in the shed? That's the question we're going to explore today.
I mean, think about something you do all the time. You've got a list of numbers and you just want to double every single one. The classic way? You set up an empty list, you write a for loop, you do your math inside, you append the result. It works, of course it works, but it feels like you're holding the computer's hand, telling it every single little step. What if instead we could just tell Python our goal? Hey, double every number in this list, and just let it figure out the details.
Well, the key to unlocking that more expressive style is the Lambda function. Just think of it as a tiny, anonymous, throwaway helper. It's a function that doesn't even need a name, built to do one small job right where you need it, and then it's gone.
Let's really see the difference here. A normal function that you create with def, that's like a permanent tool in your workshop. You give it a name, you put it on the shelf, and you can grab it whenever you want. A Lambda, on the other hand, that's like one of those single-use tools you need for one specific task. It's small, it's nameless, and it's perfect for when you need a quick bit of logic right here, right now. And that conciseness, that's its superpower.
Okay, so now that we have our new Lambda helper, let's meet our first big functional tool, map. The idea behind map is simple. You use it when you want to take a whole collection of things, like a list, and apply the exact same change, the exact same transformation to every single item in it.
So let's look at the old way again. Using that for loop to double the numbers, you're being so explicit. You're giving step-by-step instructions, which usually means more lines of code. This right here is the before picture we're trying to improve.
And this is where map just shines. At its heart, it's so simple. You give it two things: a function, which is like your recipe, and an iterable, like a list, which is your ingredients. Map then just does the work. It applies that recipe to every single ingredient for you and hands you back all the results. It completely handles the looping part under the hood. And boom, here's the after picture. Look at that. We replaced that whole multi-line loop with one single expressive idea. We're just saying, take these numbers and map this doubling function over every single one. The result is exactly the same, but the code is so much more direct. It's cleaner, it's more concise, it's more Pythonic. Okay, next up, what if you don't want to change every item? What if you want to be selective? You just want to pick out the items that meet some condition. Well, for that, we've got filter.
So here's the classic way you do this, right? Let's say you want only the even numbers. You'd write a for loop, and inside that loop, you'd have an if statement. You're checking each item one by one, deciding if you should keep it or toss it. Again, it works fine, but you're mixing up the how to loop part with the what to keep part.
This is where filter comes in to clean things up. Its job is incredibly focused. You give it a test, a function that returns true or false, and you give it your list. It runs every single item through that test, and it only keeps the ones that come back as true. It's literally like pouring your data through a sieve. Only the good stuff gets through.
And here it is in action. So much cleaner, isn't it? It's like we've defined a perfect little filter, and our Lambda function is that filter. It's the rule that says what gets to stay. The code reads almost like plain English. Filter these numbers for the ones that are even. There's no extra baggage, just the core idea.
All right, time for our last major tool, and this one is a bit different. It's called reduce. So if map is for changing a whole list, and filter is for picking from a list, reduce is for when you need to take that entire list and kind of crush it down into one single final answer.
Now, a really quick but important heads up. Unlike map and filter, reduce isn't just hanging out ready to be used. You actually have to import it from a module called functools. And this was a deliberate choice by the Python developers. Because reduce can sometimes be a little harder to read at a glance than a simple loop, they wanted you to be very intentional about using it. only when it's really the clearest way to solve your problem.
So, how's it work? Well, reduce applies a function over and over again cumulatively. It takes the first two items from your list, computes a result. Then, it takes that result and the third item and computes a new result. It keeps doing that over and over. Think of it like making a snowball. It just keeps rolling and getting bigger until it's gone through the whole list and you're left with just one thing.
A perfect example is just summing up a list of numbers. You can see it right here. Reduce grabs the first two numbers, 1 and 5, and our function adds them to get 6. Then it takes that result, 6, and adds it to the next number, 2, to get 8. And it just keeps on rolling through the whole list until it's done, leaving us with that one final value, 12.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's not just about memorizing these 3 function names. It's about a whole new way of thinking. It's a shift. Instead of thinking in steps and loops, first do this, then do that, you start thinking in terms of data transformations. You think, okay, I have this data, first I need to map a change over it, then I need to filter out some results, and then I need to reduce it to a final answer. And the real magic happens when you realize you can chain these all together, creating these elegant little data pipelines in just a few lines of code.
And here's a super simple cheat sheet to help you get into that mindset. When you're facing a problem, just ask yourself one of these questions. Is my goal to transform every single item in the same way? If yes, think map. Is my goal to select a subset of items based on a test? That's a job for filter. Or is my goal to combine everything into one single final result? You guessed it, that's reduce. This little table can be your go-to guide.
So I'll leave you with this one question. The very next time you find yourself about to write a for loop to process a list, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, am I transforming, am I filtering, or am I reducing? Because you know what? There might just be a much cleaner, more elegant, more Pythonic way to get it done. Thanks for hanging out with me today.